Hi, my name is Christina Trujillo, and this is my take on administrative law for the public safety professionals. In this class, I learned about the rules and the guides on government agencies, like those that handle the economy, the health, the environment, and a lot more. Um, it sets ground rules for those agencies that make decisions and create regulations and make sure that they act fairly within the law. So I think of it as a playbook that makes sure that government bodies stay organized, transparent, and accountable. So ever since the late 1800s, as government started taking on more responsibilities, administrative law has grown alongside them. So today it covers everything from old federal agencies to today's vast administrative networks. So playing a key role in delivering public services on everything that we basically rely on. So when we talk about what administrative agencies do, I learned in this course that they do a lot. They make rules, they resolve disputes, they enforce laws, and they handle things like issuing permits or licenses. And if someone feels like an agency made an unfair decision, there's always going to be ways to challenge it. Either it's through internal appeals or in court. So these agencies are deeply involved in our daily lives. Things like the environmental protection, the healthcare, immigration, taxes, and workplace safety that is all part of what administrative law oversees. So, in this essence, administrative law helps keep these agencies working properly, respecting people's rights, and following the correct procedures. So administration law, I believe by learning everything that I learned in this course is very important for public safety agencies like the Homeland Security, FEMA, and police departments. So these agencies are what protects us while we're making sure that they're also following the constitutional rights. So a way that they do that is by creating regulations, issuing licenses, and conducting investigations and resolving disputes. So I think it's very important that their powers are clearly defined, especially um, so that they don't overreach. So it checks like congressional oversight, court reviews, internal procedures, and public participation, and it all helps keep all the agencies accountable. So I think that was very interesting to learn. I also learned that fairness is a due process at the heart of administrative proceedings. So another thing that I also learned in this class is about the 14th Amendment. So thanks to the 14th Amendment, everyone must be given notice for a chance to be heard and an impaired or partial decision maker. So these rules are essential because the stakes could be losing license, property, or even a job. Principles of equal protection also mean similar people should be treated equally. So which helps the agency actions be fair and trustworthy. So I also learned that it's also important, so it won't be biased or there won't be conflicts that can seriously undermine public confidence. I've also I've also learned that writing laws is a core part of administrative law. So agencies develop regulations through a process that involves public notice, feedback from citizens, and publication of final rules. So politics process that the public opinion of others, which influences the process, especially around issues like environmental rules or health policies. So today's debate focuses on how much discretion agencies should have, how sh- um, how guidance documents should be used, and the impact of special interests. So when agencies investigate compliance or misconduct, they must follow also legal procedures like obtaining warrants or subpoenas to avoid the misuse of authority. So I think it's a lot of interesting things that I learned in this course. Another thing that I learned was resolving disputes, which I do believe that it was another important aspect of this lesson. So this happens through formal hearings that are often led by administrative law judges, and I believe it's hyphened as ALJ. So who ensure fairness, they evaluate the evidence, and they make decisions that courts can review later. So procedures like discovery and pretrial conferences are what helps streamline the process while courts step into review, whether it's agencies stuck in the authority or their protected rights. There's also rules about who can challenge the agency decision and when, and ensure ensuring the process remains fair and manageable. So I think a lot of things that I did learn within this, some of these lessons, is making sure that everybody's treated equal. There's fairness all around, regardless of the authority that you have. So I also learned in the lesson about transparency, which is promoted by the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. But public safety agencies sometimes limit access to protect national security on ongoing investigations. So there's key court cases like Chevron and Matthews that have helped me learn about setting the standards on how much how much difference courts gives to agency interpretations and how due process work in these settings. So administrative law constantly involves balancing legal, ethical, and societal considerations, especially with the rapid technology changes. So the term deep state, I feel like it often pops up when people talk about like a secret network of folks working behind the scenes with government, intelligence, military, or other powerful institutions. So these individuals are believed to operate independently of elected officials and the democratic process, influencing policies, making big decisions, and pushing their own agendas, even if those don't always match what the leaders want. But on the flip side of this, many people see the whole idea as just a conspiracy theory lacking the solid proof. I believe that they think that what's really going on is just normal bureaucracy, long-standing institutions routines, disagreements, and the usual intentional eteria, I'm sorry, inertia that doesn't necessarily mean that there's something hidden, groups pulling all the strings. So interestingly, the deep state concept has been talked about in all countries like Turkey, Egypt, and lately it's come up a lot when people talk about the United States. So sometimes it's used to explain why certain government actions seem to set in stone, or why power seems to stick around long after politicians leave office. So that's quite kind of like behind the scenes influence shaping the flow of events. So one really interesting thing that I've learned is how discretion agencies have that something called like the deep state too. So it's about the significant influence that the unelected officials can have, which also sparks debates about transparency and accountability and how much oversight the public really has. So agencies are essential for running things smoothly, but their power can sometimes feel pretty insulated from direct political control. So in this class, I've learned that today public safety agencies face new challenges between balancing with security and civil liberties, tackling threats and such as like cybercrime, and dealing with intense public scrutiny after high profile incidents. So the complexity of procedures and the fast changing laws and the need for coordination among different agencies make their work even more demanding than what it used to be. So something that I feel would be very helpful to learn, and if I had the chance to learn, I would love to explore more about how administrative law interacts with new technology. I find it very interesting, especially how agencies regulate emerging digital tools and handle their privacy issues. So, as a society, it becomes more digital. Administrative law has an even greater role in shaping public safety strategies, so while safeguarding our rights. So I do think that administrative law and new technology are about um, how government agencies work with the rules and legal principles that come into play, especially as new technologies pop up. Um, I would like to know how like new agencies might need to regulate something like the internet service, the biotech, or the telecom. So they might create fresh rules or interpret existing laws to deal with these things like data privacy, cybersecurity, or other ethical questions that teaches new tech bring-ups. So technology is also, it influences the administrative law itself, agencies. Um, I know that they use a lot of digital tools that run smoothly and analyze data more efficiently. Plus, it's something that I'm interested in my career. You know, I want to learn more about the technology side of it because I eventually want to do like sort of investigative work. But yeah, so and also I'd also want to learn like how they handle everything that's going on in the media, and then how they the difference between the administrative law and technology. I know that there's pretty a dynamic changing as fresh issues come into the scene, but I do believe that that's something that I would like to dive deeper into. So thank you so much.